Kams audio son. You burn the swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Kams, I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat. Oh, one more, hold on, one more. Keep a fire burning, Red Judge, representing for Kams audio son. Red.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you can even money, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. You can keep, you can even money when you've been a corrupt. I've been tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. Then you had your pocket full. And I've been tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you conniving money. Never joker. Never joker, never joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. That's all the money that me walk for. I said money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now I know what you can even money. Oh, Joseph.
like me conniving morning. Morning, y'all. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 7 hours 27 on the 10th of February in the year 2023. Yes, in the year 2023, the 10th of February. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. How have you been? How was you yesterday? Your last night? I know you're today going so far. I haven't seen one of our faithfuls. I know she usually is the first person to say good morning to you, Mr. Amsterdam and the Kams family. Patricia Graves, Andy, if you're about, put up your hand. I've seen Patricia for a few days. At least when I really started checking. I know she had a bereavement. Yes. But not much else after that. Patricia, where you are, girl? How you do? How you keeping? How you and your family and so on? We want to know, you know. Don't think we just sit behind here and do what we do and we are not concerned about the people who do it with us. Morning. Welcome to another program. It is 28 minutes past 7. It's Free Talk Friday. I did indicate to Dr. Hines I might need him this morning. But I had to get permission from you guys. Let me start by saying I didn't follow up. And so I'm not even sure if he remembered. And so if he's going to be here this morning. But if he is, no, he's not right now. But if he is, we're going to have a gaff when he comes on about all things Guyanese. In the meantime, it's Free Talk Friday. There's some days when I don't feel like talk too much, like today. And so on those days, as usual, you know, I just switch up the program and open up the lines almost immediately. So those of you who are anxious to tell me what you want to tell us, I'm giving you some freedom to call in while we talk. But I'm also saying be mindful that, you know, there will be time constraints and, of course, other people want to make their contributions and so on. Let's keep that in mind. Right? It's Friday also, and so let me alert you that I'm not likely to go beyond 9 o'clock or very far beyond 9 because those children have to eat. I gotta go out there and get their stuff for them today. Good? And so those are some of the things I want you to think about. I also want you to think about what will make a witness go to court. Stand in the box. Provide evidence, or as they say, testify. Right? And I want us to have a discussion on this. Why would a witness go to court? Testify. For as long as they were required to testify. But when it came to cross-examination time, they were no show. They did not turn up. Why would a witness do that? How much credibility? How much credibility can we ascribe to that witness? Hi, Patricia. I'm happy to know that you're on YouTube. Good morning, Patricia. How you doing, Patricia? Right? You know, I like see you in my face early in the morning. Morning, Mr. Amsterdam and the Kams family. Right? They say the little things matter, you know. Those little things make our day. You're making joke when, when you could wake up and look forward to somebody saying good morning to you, Mr. Amsterdam. Excuse me. That's an important thing, you know. I see me armpit. Sorry. Let me take a break for my throat's sake. I'll give a minute or 2 or 3 or 4 there. I gotta lubricate the throat.
The fire burning red in the Georgia representing of it comes hard here. Big up Kidaki, Buxton massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like you like Kams son. Red. Kams hard your son. You burn this swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Kams I say them heart no kind. Buxton massive. Kidaki. Red that.
Yes, I was lubricating the throat there. I'll let tell you something. I got so many doctors. It's like I got a whole hospital. The slightest thing seed oil to me to help with some of these difficulties and so on. And I can extent as I'm supposed to be in terms of taking these, what should I say, aids, these helpers, these whatever you want to call them, to improve health and so on. So right, so the question I ask you is, which witness is going to want to go to court and provide evidence? And so on. Yeah, Jiva, can't be getting jealous. It simply means that you're slacking up on your game, Jiva. Right? You gotta do better. You gotta sleep. You gotta wake earlier. You gotta let certain person wake you because they're accustomed to waking early. Right? Good. So yes, I was saying it's a good thing. As I usually say, you know, man is not an island. Man is a social being. And so it's a good thing when you know that, you know, you're waking up to a group of people who appreciate you for what you do, who are concerned about you, and all of that. Right? And so likewise, when you recognize that you haven't seen them around, or some of them around you, naturally, you're a human being. You want to know, what happened, man? I see Patricia a long time. I wonder if she's all right. Kelly Ford, what's going on with you, girl? Right? These are some of the people who I know religiously. Emily Durant and Rhonda. Well, Rhonda is a regular. Right? Let me say regular. Right? So yes, you must inquire about the well-being of these folks. I seriously missed GT Wood Girl for quite a while. But I thought I saw her sometime during this week. GT Wood Girl, how you doing? This is a woman who promised that she coming to Guyana, you know. 2 years now, GT Wood Girl coming to Guyana, but I know what happened. I know what to tell she, or she came in quietly and crept out quietly. You know, some people is all talk and no action, you know. Right? All talk and no action. GT Wood Girl, how you do? Buxtonian blood. Yes, it's Free Talk Friday, and so, like I said, we're going to talk about some things. First, let me address somebody named Anil Prasad on this live this morning. And Anil Prasad has reversed the bodily functions. Right? Where he should be ingesting his excreting. So he's talking a lot of crap this morning. According to him, the Dr. Solomon supported the PPP at the GECOM because she knew who were the riggers. And I was there and I couldn't see the riggers until the boxes were open. And then I understand what rigging really looked like in this country. Good? And I will maintain that the real riggers in this country are the PPP. They are at it again. They have always been at it. They have always been at it. Note I say they have always been at it. They have been so blatant in terms of rigging that they had Gokul Budu at least on 2 occasions trying to steal elections. Remember when they stole that seat from AFC, the Linden seat, that Smiling Sarmine sat on for quite a while? They went to court, I don't think they ever gave up that seat. Talking about Smiling Sam, I understand he's the, ambassador to the US. Right? And then there is the one where Vincent Alexander recognized that Gokul Budu was allegedly using fictitious figures, right, to give the PPP the election. And he stepped in, and the machinery kicked in, and naturally the PPP lost the election. So when we talk about rigging, Lionel and the likes don't come here and talk foolishness. The other thing is, I keep saying, when tree not get fruit, little by not pelt them. Right? When tree not get fruit, little by not pelt them. I don't know if, I think it is. It's what McKenna, happy birthday. May you live to see many, many more. I don't know if it is, well, I think it is a simple enough parable for people to understand. When tree not get fruit, little by not pelt them. It simply says that when there's nothing to be had, no benefit to be gained, people don't have interest in certain things. No little by pelting no mango tree, for example, or guinea tree if there are no fruits, because we want leaf. Huh? We want leaf. Nobody impelting no tree for leaf. So if you see a little boy pelting a fruit tree, you can almost be sure that fruit is on that tree. Let's translate it to what we do. When you see the likes of Anil Prasad and others come attacking, as they call us, social media influencers, it means that we are having an impact, we are having an effect. There's something that we're saying about the government that is bothering them. Saying or doing that is bothering the government. And so they send out their paid goons. They send out their paid goons to try to mess with our psyche and say, y'all ain't making sense, y'all talking to yourself, y'all ain't talking to nobody listen, y'all, nobody follow y'all. And y'all ain't got no evidence of what y'all saying and so on, but y'all don't rest y'all stuff. But who don't know? And so this morning, I am drawing to your attention, this morning it seems as though the focus is on the Paul Slow Show. Speaking out against corruption, incompetence, and whatever else. Right? I noticed the Big Shit News Watch for quite a while has been trying to attack Paul Slow and Clinton Conway, calling them geriatrics and all kinds of things. Right? I just saw him made a post about the Conslow Show. Right? A contraction of Conway and Slow, of course. Conslow Show. And I'm saying this has to be a coordinated attack. They are operating like Al-Qaeda. Because as soon as I saw that, and I'm here now, I see Anil Prasad. I wonder if it's Big Smith. His name Leroy Smith, I think. I wonder if it's Big Smith metamorphosed and became Anil Prasad. People do all kinds of things to the supper, you know. But as soon as I saw that post, or shortly after I saw that post, that I came to my desk here. Here it is, Anil Prasad saying Conway and Slow are two senile people. And every week they're talking about things they know not. Is that really true? You're going to ask a lot of the serving ranks. As somebody said, even on the Boston Public Road the other day, Divisional Commander Paris Ram was practically quoting Paul Slow in his response to the media about why they are not using force or why they have not approached that situation forcefully to get the protesters and so on off the road. Right? So when they come every morning and they try to plant seeds of doubt in our minds, Remind them that we big but we ain't stupid. We know what's up. Right? Godfrey Clark, oh, you mean what happened to you? Huh? You know, I always say that's one of the things when you start calling names. You know, if you have a venture and people support it and so on, it's best to say thanks to everybody. Me want to say thanks to everybody who assists and who help out in this situation. Because the minute you call names and you forget one, you're coming in for serious flap. Right? You're coming in for serious flap. Well, let me talk about what we are talking about. Don't let them be distracting. Don't let them distract us. Him being a young geriatric is perhaps a honor to him, quite frankly, because I am happy for the age I've gone to. And I can sit here and say for a fact that Conway and Slow must be exuberant about their ages, especially that they were on the front line there, keeping citizens of this country safe for decades. Right? Because they were in high-risk employment. And they managed to become geriatrics according to this idiot. A lot of young people are not making 40 nowadays. A lot, as old people like to say, young lives are falling. So a lot of young people are not making 40. But they're ready to trust portions of the older folks, the elders who can really teach them something. The elders who have been there, done that. Right? Well, of course, we know who is carrying whose flame. And so once you know, you know. And so you can be swayed by what you know, or you can be you can be swayed by the misinformation that some people attempt to propagate. Because you know who they are. They are no longer wolves in sheep clothing. We know them by now. We have seen their true colors. And so when they come and they throw certain things at you, you ain't got no time to bother with them. So I asked the question, what kind of witness will go to court? Take the stand, provide evidence. But when it comes time to be cross-examined, they're ducking and hiding. Right? How much credibility can you ascribe to those persons? Claudette Singh, who I have argued for quite a while, has lost all her credibility. The same credibility that she said she won't, for all the money in Guyana, she won't sell her credibility. You remember that statement? Claudette Singh said to the public when she was appointed, for all of the oil money in Guyana, she won't sell her credibility. She won't sell her integrity. It's not for sale. But I have for quite a while been arguing. Right? I've been arguing that this woman has lost her integrity a long time ago. She has no credibility, she has no integrity. On top of that, she has no shame. She's a PPP doormat. Maybe somebody should say because she's a geriatric. And I should not say I just think. I know because I have been exposed to her family history. And she is one of them fairer than thou, clearer than thou. Black man. But put that aside. This woman has lost all credibility. Everything that goes on at GECOM, she leans on the side of the PPP. Everything. And so I said yesterday, when she backs off, it is not that she has given up. It is that she has found an alternative route. You know, they say when you can't go through, you go under, you go over, you go alongside. And so when you see Claudette backing off from anything that favors the PPP at GECOM, it means that they find an alternative avenue. They found an alternative route to get just what they want. And so when this, y'all remember the circus that they call this commission of inquiry into the election rigging? That the fat guy is expending billions of Guyana dollars on, hundreds of millions of Guyana dollars on, to pay the likes of Ramson Sr. Is it Ramson Sr.? I gotta ensure I get the names right before somebody send me a lawsuit. Because a couple weeks ago, I spoke about a fraud at GGMC, and I unfortunately mixed up two names. You know, some people are popular than the others. And so the popular name slipped out. And I had to pull that broadcast because I can't afford to pay any lawsuit. And so I got to ensure I go back and find a list of the justices who are part of this charade. Right? This charade. But this charade is on, the sideshow is still on as far as I understand. It's wrapping up. And Claudette Singh testified in front of these commissioners. But naturally, once you testify, the counsel for some of the people who are named in these proceedings have a right to cross-examine the witnesses. Claudette has not turned up. I'm taking it from Kaicho News tonight. Kaicho News tells us that despite being scheduled for cross-examination on Wednesday, Chairperson of Guyana Elections Commission Justice retired Claudette Singh was a no-show at the Commission of Inquiry into the March 2020 regional and general elections. Justice Singh was listed among witnesses who were set to face a series of questions from Nigel Hughes. Let me say Senior Counsel Nigel Hughes. I always refer to him as that. He's most deserving. The lawyer for former Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers, in relation to their testimonies implicating Myers in the elections mayhem before the elections COI committee. However, when the hearing was ready to commence, Justice Singh was absent, and Chairman of the Commission of Inquiry explained to Mr. Hughes that the GECOM chair did not implicate Myers in her testimony. Hughes was told that his questioning of witnesses should be limited to those who implicated his client. The lawyer, however, explained that Justice retired Singh in her testimony indicated that Mr. Gunraj had accused Ms. Myers of blocking him from entering sections of the command center. But the commission said it is for Mr. Gunraj to respond to those allegations and not the GECOM chair. GECOM Commissioner Gunraj is now expected to reappear before the elections COI today at 10 hours. That, of course, would have been yesterday, which was the 9th. In the meantime, Hughes was given the opportunity to cross-examine GECOM's IT manager, Anil Giddens. While on the cross-examination, he admitted that he removed the Secretariat server. That is, Giddings admitted that he removed the Secretariat server from the Region 4 Regional Command Center on March 5, 2020, and placed it into his personal car, despite the fact that there were several vehicles belonging to the commission in the compound at the time. Hughes asked whether his actions were in keeping with the standard operating procedure. Mr. Giddings said, quote, "The SOP does not clearly state where the server or data should be placed." However, retired Chancellor of the Judiciary, Carl Singh, sought to stop the line of questioning by inquiring whether Mr. Giddings was on trial. The former Chancellor is among the 3 commissioners presiding over the COI. Y'all know who Carl Singh is, right? Is his son allegedly spat on the female special constable while she was guarding his home? Quote, "The issue remains the same. Has Mr. Giddings said anything implicatory of Ms. Myers? If he did, put it to him. Let's hear what he has to say," Commissioner Singh said. Mr. Hughes nevertheless argued that he was placing the issues into context. Based on previous testimonies before the commission, Myers has been accused of breaching GECOM's SOPs. On Tuesday, Hughes was granted permission to cross-examine at least 6 witnesses, including Justice Singh and GECOM Commissioner Sis Gunraj, when he appeared at the COI alongside his client. When Myers took the stand at the COI, she invoked her right to remain silent, as she is currently facing charges in relation to elections fraud in the Magistrates' Court, where Hughes is also representing her. Based on previous testimonies before the commission, Myers attempted to evacuate the District 4 Command Center of observers and party agents by using her influence over other key elections officials and members of the Guyana Police Force. Assistant Commissioner of Police Edgar Thomas, who was in charge of police operations in Region 4 during the 2020 elections, during his testimony on November 4, 2022, claimed that former police commissioners Leslie James and Nigel Hoppy were bent on carrying out Myers' instructions days after the March 2, 2020 election. Thomas said Myers was most aggressive in her attempt to order the officers to evacuate the building where the vote count for Region 4 was being tabulated. It was reported that Myers was among a group of elections officials accused of attempting to fraudulently change the results of Region 4. Right? Now, we can, well, you've heard the story there. Right? You've heard the story there that having given our testimonies to this and that and the others, chairman of the commission of GECOM, when it came to being cross-examined, this COI, the chairman of this COI, entered the elections, chaos I like to say. Basically, is standing between Nigel Hughes and Claudette Singh. He doesn't want Nigel Hughes to cross-examine her. Like they don't want Nigel Hughes to cross-examine Anil Giddings, for example. And so they're saying this person could only be cross-examined or should only be cross-examined if they implicated Nigel Hughes' client. And you tell me if Claudette Singh says that Gunraj said, or Gunraj accused Myers of XYZ, didn't Claudette Singh implicate Myers? Didn't she implicate Myers? I mean, in all this society, we might say stark name. Here say, she like say, she repeated what somebody else said. But you and I know that a talk name, that repeat of what somebody else said, is enough to implicate somebody. And so didn't she implicate Myers in this matter? She did. And so she should have been allowed, she should have been made to answer whatever questions Nigel had in relation to her implicating Myers. But no. Just as how she looks out for the PPP and protects their interests, the PPP looks out for her and protects her interests, for as much as it serves their interests. And so how credible is Claudette? How ethical is Claudette? And this is not a new approach to defending and protecting Claudette Singh. Because when charges were brought against Claudette Singh in the same manner in which charges were brought against Watson Myers and Lowenfield, etc., when private charges were brought against Claudette Singh, the PPP used the DPP to dismiss those charges, to null pros them. Right? And so she's a protected species under the doormat of the PPP, because that's what she does, they're bidding. That is what she does, they're bidding. And so when they wanted, allegedly, Anil Giddings, know the name Anil Giddings, to perform duties as Deputy Chief Elections Officer, they were actually rooting, she was actually rooting along with the PPP commissioners for someone who was already proving his loyalty to the PPP. And go back to the same story that I read from. And you'll see where on the day when they had the elections chaos at Ashman's building, Anil Giddings was the IT specialist there on duty. And there is video evidence showing that Anil Giddings extracted the hard drive, GECOM hard drive, the hard drive where the electoral data is stored, from the system and took it to his car. And anybody who operates in the IT field or has an inkling of what happens, or the slightest idea, or common sense even, will tell you that for as long as he extracted that hard drive and took it to his private vehicle, or the mere extraction of that hard drive from where it is supposed to be, in the confines of GECOM, and took it off-site, the data thereby is compromised. Nobody knows unto this day what Anil Giddings did with the data on that hard drive. Did he take it to his car and use his personal computer, laptop perhaps, to modify the input? To change and manipulate the outcome of the elections? Did he? Did he deliberately delete important information from that hard drive that had to do with that had a bearing on the election results? Did he attempt to remove evidence and conceal the commission of a crime? Those are the questions. Why did Anil Giddings remove the hard drive from GECOM? Not have removed the hard drive, because removing the hard drive compromises and so as time evolves, as the proceedings continue at this COI, you will see for yourself that the very commission that says it's about finding the truth, it is not putting anybody in trial. It really wants to know what happened at the elections. You will find the very commissioners of that commission protecting a lot of people because their own whole aim is to prevent the truth being revealed. And so you can't place weight on the findings of that commission whenever they find, if they ever find. Right? You certainly can't. And you can certainly form your opinion as to whether or not Claudette is credible. I maintain that Claudette has no credibility because we've seen her actions from the time she was appointed, you know. People say you see him at daytime and look for him with jog lamp at night. Because from the time of her appointment, persons saw her questionable conduct. For example, she was quick to stop the house-to-house registration. Right? She was quick to stop the house-to-house registration. And Granger is in all of his glory, all of his ways said, you know, whatever the GECOM commission chairman decides, I will support. Sometimes we have to be careful of the statements we make. Because people use those very statements. They use our own rope to hang us. And no sooner did he say that, Claudette said, I'm going to stop the registration process. Right? So you have a lot of protectionism taking place at the commission. You got a lot of ducking and puduping. We say stooping and puduking. Ducking and dodging. They don't want to be cross-examined. People, it's okay. People can go there and talk what they like. But when the time comes for interrogating somebody to interrogate what they said, is that the problem that's come? Reminds me of my day in court last one. Was it Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday. Here's Inspector Flats presenting to the court 2 photographs purporting to identify me as a protester. Now, first and foremost, I said, fool, attack, fool, now listen. This man said Mr. Amsterdam was about 8 feet away from where the protesters stood at the barrier of the police barrier in front of GECOM. So are you saying that anybody who is 8 feet away from a protest is a protester, number one? So nobody can be a stand-by and onlooker at this protest, despite the fact that they're 8 feet away, approximately 8 to 10 feet away. But it gets even more ridiculous, because in these photographs, when they were presented, nobody could identify Mr. Amsterdam in this photograph except Inspector Flats, who was pointing to the silhouette of a person in the background of the photograph as Mr. Amsterdam and saying that silhouette, he can identify from that silhouette Mr. Amsterdam with a loud halo. Full attack, full now listen. Maybe in the mind's eye of Flats, he was seeing Mr. Amsterdam clearly on that photograph with a loud halo. But it's when the cross-examination comes that you just get it fun. Because then a lot of these people come to realize they've been talking stupidness. And so the commissioners over at that COI on the elections chaos, whatever you want to call it, knew to themselves that Claudette Singh and a lot of the people they masqueraded as witnesses or as people who had information that can help the COI arrive at a conclusion were talking foolishness. And so cross-examination time they duck in them. Right? They duck in them. Full attack. Full not listen. And I bring these things to you on a daily basis so that you can become aware. You can establish a nexus. You can connect the dots as to what is happening. Continue to look and see what's happening at GECOM. Continue to follow the issue of this appointment of a deputy CEO. Continue to follow the quote-unquote upward mobility, the presence of Anil Giddings at GECOM. In any other decent society, Giddings could not have been associated with electoral management in this country anymore. Or that country, any country that is serious about its democracy. Because you took actions which compromised the election. You can't be trusted anymore. You're telling me that this same man who removed the hard drive in the last election would be placed in charge of IT again in the next election? Y'all talk to me. And Guyanese will sit back and accept that? So agitation has to start. Agitation has to begin. You need to get the likes of Giddings out of GECOM. Unless you're waiting for another election for him to do what he wants with the hard drive. Right? These are matters that we have to pay attention to. We have to. We cannot afford to sleep on them. Do not sleep on these issues. Do not. It's 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. Our the lines are open. The lines remain open. You're tuned to Guyanese Morning Time as we talk about what's happening in this society. It's Free Talk Friday. Right, today is Friday. You can come down to Club Twilight after lunch and get some cold ones at some good price and get some cutters, grilled chicken and so on. Chicken and chips and fish and chips and so on. Come down to Club Twilight. Chillax after a hard week. Right? Chillax. Get some cold ones. Get a good atmosphere. Who knows? Like I say, you might find Mr. Amsterdam there and say you could talk little politics and so on, which you dare not talk on the phone. Last but not least, they said the private sector has roasted the police on the way they approach the Buxton situation. Right? Private sector blisters police over response to Buxton unrest. Let's take this call and then we go back to that. Call it live, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. And I'm glad that we have completed another successful week, gaining a lot of information and bringing us that way forward. Now with the thing with the election things, I believe if a witness has been summoned to court and once they appear as a witness or whatsoever, their duty ends when they finish being cross-examined after giving the evidence. And if that is what is going on at the place there, I believe that is a time for the case to be discontinued because there is no merit in the case and they are not going along the guidelines to produce a credible evaluation of the election. And I think there is where they should make moves to have that being discontinued because it's not serving the good of the country, only wasting more of the oil money. Anyway, I understand there is something afoot with Vincent wanting the petition case to be thrown out. Only one part of the case could be heard because the CCJ had pronounced that one mustn't be heard, but the other one I think should be heard. And I believe that the opposition should make sure that the case that the CCJ said must be heard, it must be heard. And when it comes to the people talking about geriatrics, you know, so when you smile us learn ABCD and every day, all day you're singing ABCD. Apparently the Anil Prasad get a new word in his vocabulary, so he's using it. And he's using it in the wrong place. Because if you call in people like Paul Slow and Mr. Conway geriatrics, what is he calling Gail Teixeira? What really you calling Gail Teixeira? She's older than those men. And you know they got a way looking to throw things in people's face. Now they're talking about SOP. Somebody ain't got time with SOP. SOP has been removed and it's supposed to be the recount. That is what they got to look at. And when it comes to the man taking the hard drive and putting it in eating, the poll book don't tell you where to put hard drive. Hard drive belongs the way it should be. Nothing about the election training stipulates where you put certain things. They go after the statement of polls. After that, the rest is to the internal personnel and not somebody, a single-handed person, to collect the hard drive. So these things, I believe that case should be scrapped. Last, everybody did jumping down and saying Sugate done and Sugate finished, Sugate ain't got nowhere to go. But I saw with the arrest of certain people who were, what you got to do, washing the money, the bad money in China, they were being picked up. And that came through Sugu, and I understand that Big Sam get them to go up there. And I know more of that is going to be done because this Sugate thing that many people believe it's over, it ain't even begin as yet. And once they start to collect people, more will be going eventually until they're going to collect the right persons and do what they have to do with them. So all who think Sugate is a dead stock, hold on. And when you see important newscasts can catch you under the surveillance to see and talk about you, you can't live no more. So happy weekend, and one of these Fridays I'm going to come there.
I think you're wasting a lot of time, you know. In the sense that the only way these people understand the kind of language, placard and everything, placard you replace by something else. Are you sure? That's my contribution quickly.
Thank you for your call. You know, I don't know that usually, well, maybe there was a time when I used to say peaceful protest, but usually when I say to you protest, I don't tell you how to do it, you know. There are forms of protest. When the housewife says she ain't cooking no damn food, she protesting because the husband making himself a clown. When she saying washing no clothes to these children, she protesting because the children ain't cooperating. When she decide to give them some good belt lashes, she protesting because she fed up with them and their foolishness. So they got all kinds of protests we can protest. Y'all got to decide how y'all want to do it. All I say protest. Right? In some countries, when they don't want people to take up certain positions, political or otherwise, they just disappear. Call it live, good morning.
Hi, good morning to Raki. Good morning to the listening public. We had a meeting at the parade ground, right? And our leaders, we come to a consensus that in the team, in order for the country to grow, planet must go. Now, this is about how much months since that meeting, and nothing seems to be, going on to keep the pressure on this woman. This woman need, more pressure. You know what I mean? The fire has to be intense for her to decide to bow out. And it doesn't seem that we are going anywhere. There has to be intense fire, intense heat for her to go somewhere, right? And in the likes of the chief elections officer, his appointment, we know that, it was Claudette appointed that guy because he didn't win the votes or whatever it is. He didn't win it. It was our appointment. So this woman keep, just pushing people around. She keep, I won't say making mistakes, but she keep doing things to please our bosses in the PPP. So, we need to intensify this, struggle, and she has to be the forefront of what we are struggling for removal. So we got to get her away from there. We got to get her from there. So, we cannot wait until, election week to start doing this. We got to do it now. So that's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. The lines are made on 6225933. You're talking, you're calling, you're listening to the Guyanese Morning Time. And so I was saying that the private sector blisters police over response to Buxton unrest. They say it's better to keep your mouth shut and let others assume that you're a fool than open it and remove all doubt. The Private Sector Commission has blistered the police force over its quote-unquote non-response to the recent Buxton unrest, during which the road was blocked for hours, a truck set ablaze and persons robbed. A statement from the private sector follows. The Private Sector Commission on Tuesday, February 7, met with the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Robeson Ben. I don't know where the honor is there. Accompanied by the Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Ms. May Toussaint Jr. Thomas. Wow. To discuss several matters regarding the security sector. The PSC expressed its deep concern at the slow and even non-existent response of the police in dealing with the attack on innocent individuals, which followed an intelligence-led operation involving Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit in the vicinity of Buxton, East Coast, Demerara, on February 1, 2023, and other violent protests. Matters raised with the minister were, 1, the fact that the innocent persons were beaten and robbed, and the police did not protect them. 2, the fact that people's properties were vandalized and destroyed and the police took no action to prevent it. 3, the fact that in spite of considerable video evidence identifying the perpetrators of violence, there has been no announcement of any charges made against them. 4, the fact that it is known that though the riot squad was deployed to the area, they remained in the BV police station compound and were not engaged. The PSC, however, welcomes the recent statement by the Commissioner of Police in which he said, quote, "Those held accountable would face the full brunt of the law," end of quote. The meeting also discussed the delay in response to outstanding applications for gun licenses, the processing of work permits, and the urgent need for improved traffic management, including the control of the roadways. The Commission's team was led by Chairman Paul Cheong. Now, let us go through some of these things that the PPP PSC raised. They said there was almost a non-response during the unrest, which was blocked for hours and a truck set ablaze and persons robbed. I know a truck was set ablaze. I've seen a video of robbery. I've received a report of robbery also. As a matter of fact, I understand Tom Dalgetty was robbed on that day. I understand, I heard. I saw a video of a contractor saying that he was directed, he and the driver, the transport, they were transporting materials from some place to another, and they were directed by the police to go down some road or some dam, and they were robbed. Having seen that report, I saw the driver said he lost the material plus some money which was advanced to him to do the job. The contractor, that is, the driver said he had some money, almost equivalent to what the driver had, that he lost. And the person contracted and gave the contractor money to go and get the material to do some construction work. I saw all three of them on video. I constantly say to y'all that I have a way of interrogating information. And there are some simple ways of proving credibility. Right? No, I'm not saying that this robbery of this contractor and the driver transporting the material and so on did not take place. I don't know if it took place. Because all we have before us are three human beings saying that it took place. Call out the line, please. Right? But the simplest of means to me to prove that this material was acquired by the contractor was not met. And I'm serious. And the reporter who did this report of robberies coming out of this situation in Buxton failed abjectly. Because all you have to do is ask the contractor to provide for the camera, for viewers, the receipt, the bill that you acquired after buying this material. Otherwise, to me, is hearsay. In the absence of the bill, where did you buy this material? The reporter should ask that and go to the lumber yard to confirm whether or not a contractor bought these materials. And so when you present a case to the public, it's a case that nobody can bore holes into. I can sit here and I'm sitting here and thinking the possibility is the driver and the contractor decided they were going to take advantage of the chaos, the mayhem on the public road at that time and give Buxtonians another charge of robbing them, while duping the elderly man who was conducting business on behalf of his daughter who is overseas. And nobody can blame me for taking that position because I've not yet seen the evidence to say that this robbery did happen because these people did have this thing in their possession. That's all.
The fire burning red in a Georgia representing of a Kams audience. Big up Kidaki, Buxton massive. Hey Babylon boy, you go on like you know like Kams son. Red. Kams audio son. You burn this swine when no want you shine. The tree of life, them no want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Kams I say them heart no kind. Buxton massive. Kidaki. Read that. Oh, one more. Hold on, one more. Keep a fire, bro.
Never joke. Never joke. Never joke. Oh, money, never money. Money, I know what you conniving. Money, never money. because you money dog. You hustle for tell me money.
Yes, money, neighbor.
Money, neighbor, money. Money, neighbor, money. Money, now know what you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a kill the piece. A 2 pound note and a kill the piece. A 2 pound note and a kill the piece. This is all the money that me walk for.
I said money, neighbor.
Money, neighbor, money. Money, neighbor, money. Money, now know what you conniving money.
Oh, Joseph.
Interesting. Very interesting. Is Miss Debbie Owen Kirk? What is she doing here making all of this? Typing all of these things. I don't know what they mean. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to another program. How was your weekend? Y'all had a good weekend? You had some fun and recreation and so on. You were able to rest and recuperate. How much money you make? Remember, I keep telling y'all, use your weekends as a side hustle. Use the weekends and make some money. That money, you're doing a 9 to 5 all week with the government. You can't get to do a side hustle for yourself. Take your weekends and do something for yourself. Take your weekends and do something for yourself. Market among friends. You're a good pastry chef. Do pastries on the weekend. Advertise to your co-workers. Listen, this weekend I'm doing a variety of pastries. Place your order. I'm selling from free up. So don't come tell me you want no one pastry. And you're going to get it at competitive price. Your prices will be different to what you will pay at the bakeries and the supermarkets and so on. I'm going to ensure it's affordable, but you gotta buy, let's call it bulk price, not even wholesale. Yeah, buy bulk. And for me, bulk is from tree up. That's how you market among your friends, right? And so friend can tell friend, you know. Friend tell friends. Friends always tell friends, especially when it's good. Right? Those who didn't buy the first week, the co-workers gonna find out, hey, you buy pastry from Jenny last weekend. You know Jenny, they're selling pastry last weekend by order. Yeah, I buy some pastries, the most succulent parties I ever had. Oh God, when you bite into the thing, it's so juicy and bursting with flavors. I bite my tongue. Whatever your skill, use it on the weekend to earn extra. That's all I'm saying. Right? That's all I'm saying. A good pastry maker make pastry. You're a good bread maker. make bread. Advertise among your peers, and so let them place orders, small orders to start with, or if they know big ones, let them place orders, and so you supply them over the weekend, and then things can blossom from there. Y'all don't believe me, right? I'm an optimist. Who pays the piper calls the tune, they say. And the mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. And so you have to find alternatives to feeding yourself. If it is, you're in a system that is vindictive and wicked. And if you want your independence, if you want to maintain some semblance of independence, people will tell you there ain't nothing like pure independence. Yeah, we all are dependent on somebody for something at some time. But if you want to maintain some semblance of independence, you are prepared to do things differently. Good. I just came across this nice 3-minute video on some one of the platforms. I want you to look at it. Those of you who can't see properly, I'll read for you as it goes along. But those who can see, go ahead. Right? A mouse was put at the top of a jar filled with grains. He was so happy to find so much food around him that no longer he felt the need to run around searching for food, and now he could happily live his life. After a few days of enjoying the grains, he reached the bottom of the jar. Now he was trapped and he couldn't get out of it. He now has to solely depend upon someone to put grains in the same jar for him to survive. He also may not get the grain of his choice, and he cannot choose either. Here are a few lessons to learn from this. 1. Short-term pleasures can lead to long-term traps. Living on benefits or furlough, spoiled by parents perhaps. 2. If things are coming easy and you are getting comfortable, you are getting trapped into dependency. And 3. When you are not using your skills, you will lose more than your skills. You lose your choices and freedom. 4. Freedom does not come easy, but can be lost very quickly. Nothing comes easily in life, and if it comes easily, maybe it is not worth it. I hope you all got a picture there. Right? A lot of our young folks especially are like onto this mouse, They get placed in a position where it seems as though easy come, easy goes. They can get it easily. And if they can get it easily by wrapping up in bed with the government, the wicked and vindictive government, the PPP cabal and cartel, they can get it easily, so they don't see the need to be on the daily grind. Right? Not realizing that what they're actually doing is falling into a trap of dependency. And when the PPP has so conditioned your mind to dependency, that is when they strike their death blow. I mean, this story here doesn't talk about anybody striking a death blow, but that's what the PPP does. How many of you have known of setting jars with grains to catch rats, and when the rats are in there, that is when you get the chance to kill them? That's the PPP for you. Right? So they lure our young folks, they lure folks into this state of dependency, and then is when they strike their death blow. Maybe it's figurative. They kill your freedom to choose. Like our young doctor friend, Miss Solomon or whatever her name is. She chose to support them. They rewarded her. And perhaps they thought they had her at a point of dependency. And from the time she exhibited the fact that she was not going to be constrained by them, because she runs she motors, be like saying, she's facing the worst punishment ever right now. Can't be employed, not getting released, and stuff like that. Right? So your freedom doesn't come easily, but you can lose it quickly. And that's a prime example of how you lose it. Be careful. That's all I can say. Be very careful of how you open your mouth. Because like I said so many times, fish not get catch till you open your mouth. Right? Fish not get catch till you open your mouth. Be careful of those who come offering you gifts. Because those gifts, the easy living as they say, might be responsible for your loss of freedom and loss of choice. Many of you know that. Right? A lot of women could attest to that. A lot of men too, especially this current generation men, this or next generation men, we want to call them. A lot of women fell prey to smooth talking men with lots of gifts. And say, well, yes, this is the one. Many of those women were encouraged to leave their jobs. Look, baby, I can take care of you. Leave your job. Every morning you have to fight up and fuss up to go to work. Right? And I got you, I got you. Stay home, girl. Don't worry the thing. And you see all them cousins every weekend, every day you got to go by mommy and daddy and all them kind of thing. Girl, this got to be about us. They live their life. It's we time now. You got cut off them people ain't good for you. They always one, and stuff like that. Sometimes you always tell yourself for talking stupidness. Right? And next you take that encouragement and you isolate your family. So they now get you out of a job and they get you to isolate your family. And so they work on you and your friends. Them friends is not good for you, girl. Look at them compared to you. You think they're jealous? And stuff like that. And then you get isolated from your friends. And the only world you got is his world now. You know what I'm saying? The only world you got is his world. And so he now has you in his world to manipulate and control you. And because you fell into the trap, you have nobody to turn with, and that is where he gets you to do whatever he wants to, when he wants to, he wants to. It's called narcissism. A lot of you don't recognize it. It's called abuse. That's what a lot of men do. Right? That is what your government is doing to many of our citizens. Luring them and giving them a state of comfort. Ian James says it's best. Cut out crosses. But the one who encourages you to cut out crosses is going to turn out to be the biggest cross you ever fetch. Because once they realize you got no connections or they have successfully removed all connections, they deal with your case. That's this government. Right? So when you all think I'm talking, or it sounds as though this man talking craziness, yeah, listen to me carefully. I like to do those kinds of simple analyses. I talk to people in all my years of teaching. I tell people I teach sugar cake and sweetie maths, right? And small words English. But my students are always successful for that very approach. I don't need any highfalutin language or tongue. I use the simplest of things to try to demonstrate what I'm saying to you. Relatable things, right? And so when you think that they're making it easy for you, good morning, sir. I am seeing your name in. You're in. You need to put on your video if you don't mind. I know you're a handsome young guy, you know, sir. Do it for me. Can you hear me? Hello? All right, so, yeah. Easier than everybody else's life. And then when they brought you to that state of dependency, then they dig the lash in you. I understand. And you braided James Singh. So dear Kanu going to Buxton to create problems to this government. This government is now getting its arms around Buxton. This government is now getting its arms around Buxton. This government has made a few people in Buxton so comfortable that they're eating like the mouse from the top of the jar. And with every bite, they're going deeper into the jar. And they don't even realize that eventually they're going to be trapped in the jar. How dare you put that at risk for us? It is alleged that the fat guy said that to James Singh. How dare you? We don't care about what operation you're doing. If your operation is going to lead into Buxton, cut it off. Because our ultimate gain, our ultimate aim is to get our arms around Buxton. I think I said to somebody last week, people just put their arms around you for different reasons. A lot of people put their arms around you to restrict you. Some people misinterpret that as love. Oh God, every time I see the two of them, they're walking down the road hand in hand, Guyana always wrongs your waist. Must ask her how tight he is squeezing her and restricting her freedom. And the world interprets it as love. But he knows in his heart it is control. Huh? She does it too. Sometimes it's a show of who is in control. Throw your arm around the waist of the woman, let the world see, hey, this is me, woman. This is me, man. Y'all don't come close. People put their arms around you for different reasons. And so the cartel said they're now getting their arms around Buxton. Through these little groups that they're allowing to exist as the mouse on top of the jar. Is it safe to allow the cartel to get their hands around Buxton? Are the majority Buxtonians seeing the benefits of the arms around Buxton? If the majority Buxtonians are not seeing the benefits, if they're not receiving the benefits, then be very careful. Why are arms being placed around Buxton? I see people are saying I'm coming over double and I'm coming over low. I can tell you I'm coming over double perhaps because somebody is messing with the program. I recognize that their efforts apparently to shut me up this morning. because my program is stripping in and out. Our viewership is half of what it is normally. But I can't necessarily restart the program because you know how it goes, right? So we'll have to make do with what we have. Yes, we'll have to make do with what we have. So that double, okay, I think I know what I can, okay. I think that double will disappear now. I hope it has. Right, I'm expecting a guest. I am seeing him in the room. But I tried to speak with a young man and I'm not hearing him. Let me see if I get him on WhatsApp. Y'all bear with me. You might hear this conversation too. I know some of y'all like mind my business. Morning again. Is there a problem? I'm seeing you in Zoom, but I'm talking to you and you're not responding. Yeah, but you're showing up on Zoom. You try putting on your video? You hearing me through Zoom? Yeah. Yeah, you sign in. Alright, but your video is not connected, neither your audio. So try again. Log out and try again. Good. I'm waiting. Yeah, so you have to be very careful of when you tell yourself that you're living a good life, you're enjoying the sweet. That is what it comes down to, because traps are set like that. If fish now with me mouth, they get catch, you know. Right? And now we had the example of the mouse sitting on top of the jar telling itself that, hey, I'm in a good place. Yum, 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 yum. And as you eat, you go lower down. As you bite, as you eat and you drink from the PPP trough, you're going lower down into a trap. And then when you're at the bottom of that trap, you're now dependent on the PPP. Your freedom is dependent on the PPP. What you eat, how you eat, and when you eat is dependent on the PPP. The criminal cabal, the cartel. Right? What you do, you have no choice. Because every time you're about to choose, you have to consider the impact of that choice which you're going to make. Now, if I choose to have, let's say, PNC friends, then the PPP going to look at me like a snitch. They're going to treat me differently. I got to stay away from PNC gatherings. And so I isolate myself from a source of information. I can't criticize them when they do wrong because they're going to come after me or they're going to cut me off. These are the kind of challenges that you face when you decide that you think life is easy. Keep that in mind. This morning's stream is titled, When Salt Has Lost Its Flavor. Y'all know the Bible version? Verse or reading? It talks about when salt has lost its flavor. What happens? Have you ever had salt that lost its flavor? Huh? What happens? You ever had salt that is not salted? That salt is saltless? Good? If you got salt that has lost its flavor, it's natural that anything salt no more. It used to be salt. And if you have salt that is no good, then what do you do with it? You throw it out. Right? You throw it out. And in this Guyanese society, you have some salt that certainly has lost its flavor. And maybe it's time to throw it out. Bible version, Matthew 5:13 says, you are the salt of the earth. What if the salt loses its saltiness? How can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Right? You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. We got some people in this society who have lost their saltiness. As a matter of fact, some people might say they become bitter. Right? I read over the weekend, I saw on social media posts asking, if your ex was supposed to be considered a food, what will you consider him or her? And somebody said Karela and salt beef, because they're salty and bitter. Right? Salty and bitter. Now, I've been commenting ever so often about the behavior, the attitude of some people in our society, especially people who are opinion shapers. Right? People who are opinion shapers. The media, and if you listen to Glenn recently, I hear that I have to be quoting Glenn for the last 2 weeks or so. If you listen to Glenn recently, he says newspaper owners and publishers decide what you're going to hear. They decide what will be published, and that's so true. Right? They're the gatekeepers to information. And so media, the media has an important role, that is to inform people. And since the editors and publishers and so on are gatekeepers, they decide what people get informed about and how they get informed about it. But in all of those decision makings, there's something called credibility. And so publishers and editors and so on have to take into consideration their own credibility and the credibility of the media house which they represent. And so when you find their publishers and editors who are acting emotionally, it brings into question the credibility of the media house they represent, because they don't come across as impartial. They don't come across as unbiased. Like Glenn Lyle said, Freddie used to duck people letter when he and them don't get along and they don't see eye to eye. Right? Well, there was an incident over the weekend. Good. Just the right time. There was an incident over the weekend. Y'all know Edmund Cooper. Was buried a few days ago. The man they used to call, the man they nicknamed the Rocket, was buried a few days ago. And Big Smith, who happens or appears to be Leroy Smith, Big Smith, News Watch, who appears to have these days a monopoly on police news, or as some will say, who appears to be the mouthpiece of the Guyana Police Force, was the only media house apparently covering the funeral service of Edmund Cooper. And when it came to tributes, open tributes to be more specific, Mr. Conway, who is a known observer, critic of the behavior of the Guyana Police Force, along with Paul Slow, because they do the Wednesday show on Kams Tv here called Speaking Out Against Incompetence and the rest. Good? Big Smith has always been attacking. I can say that because the evidence is out there. Just the other day, he said something about the Conslow show. I had a short discussion on that. But he's always at the quote-unquote throat of these men.
Yeah.
Right? as a representative perhaps of the Guyana Police Force, I don't know if they have ordained him to do that. Or he just catching feelings, as people say, picking up fire rage. But he's always trying to demean the character of these gentlemen. And so Mr. Slow was at the funeral. And Mr. Conway, I'm getting your feedback.
I seen me and David Hines.
And so, at the open tribute, Mr. He muted Mr. Slow. So because of his own feelings, he's a fallen comrade. Or more so, he might have been afraid of what Mr. Conway was going to say. But most importantly, he has robbed the listening and viewing public of the benefit of listening to Mr. Conway's contribution. And that is important to note. People talk about dictators. And this is an example of who is dictatorial. Right? Unless people view Big Smith's page, he ain't got viewership, he ain't got relevance. And he has a responsibility to not disrespect his viewers. Man to man, I'm saying. Leroy Smith has proven to be Jano. Infantile, to say the least. I have in studio with me Mr. Conway. Good morning, Mr. Conway.
Morning.
Welcome to the program. Thank you for the acceptance of my late invitation, if I can call it that. I must admit that sometimes I was misbehave. How you been? How you doing?
I'm good, and thank you for inviting me on your program too.
You're always welcome. I keep telling you, don't wait for me to invite you. Send and say by you won't come.
Okay. Right.
All right, so I'm discussing this issue of Big Smith News Watch, as they call themselves, muting your comments at the funeral service of Edmund Cooper.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want you to explain to us, if you really even know, what is the fallout? What is the issue that Big Smith has with yourself, especially, and Mr. Slow by extension? What is the issue?
Well, I don't know about any fallout. We were never friends, but myself and Slow, we at times were very critical of Big Smith because there are many times the person has been getting the scoop. The force to get information, and most times it's very exclusive. And sometimes he jumps with it and it's wrong, and there are times when we comment on it.
And so that seems to be the issue there. People don't want to be criticized.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Now recently, at the funeral of Mr. Cooper, I understand Big Smith was the only person carrying a broadcast from the funeral service.
I later understand that, Kalaki.
Right. And so in the midst of tributes, when it came your turn to speak, the mic was muted or turned away from you and all of that. And so viewers didn't have the benefit of what you had to say about Mr. Cooper. So I'm giving you the opportunity, first and foremost, if you can remember, to pay tribute to Mr. Cooper via Kams TV, Guyanese Morning Time. And then we will address this infantile behavior of this media operative.
Yes, Kalaki. I know Cooper for over 30 years. In fact, I recruited him in the Guyana Police Force for training at Police College at Adventure. And we developed a father-son relationship. Never father-son relationship. And he used to call me Dad. I can remember I selected him to attend a special prosecutors course which was conducted by the Guyana Police Force, the University of Guyana, and the DPP. And Cooper excelled. For the matter, he took away most of the prizes. And he saw it as a stepping stone for him to enter the university. He went there, he studied law, and then he went on to the university to UWooden, where he gained his degree. He believed in self-development, and he saw it that he owed himself to develop himself. He got several certificates, diplomas from university across the world, and he had challenges with the police force. I remember, if you can remember, the incident on West Coast Bobbies,
Yes.
where he was commanded there, and the killing of those two youngsters there. And he confided in me. He spoke with me several times during that issue. He's saying that the high command of the Guyana police force wanted him to use lethal force against unarmed protesters, and he refused. He thought that negotiation would have worked. He believed in negotiation, and he said it was working, but perhaps it wasn't working as quickly as the high command and the government officials wanted. As a result, they relieved him of his command, transfer him to an office called Project Office with no project for him to evaluate. And then they asked him to oversee the Queen section of the force, and he must do a bit of horse riding. His relationship with them was very stressful, and he became ill. He became seriously ill. I think he had a massive stroke, but he started to come around. And through his wife, the doctors, and prayers from religious leaders, and Kupo was showing real progress of getting together, of coming around, when he suddenly died in his sleep. But all that time, the police showed scant respect for Kupo. Very scant respect for Kupo. They didn't support him. They didn't support his wife. They didn't support his family. And so that was my relationship with Kupo. He confided in me. We spoke regularly. And he was very ambitious. He developed himself. And that was it about Kupo for me.
When you went to this funeral, did you go with, as Guyanese like say, bad blood? Were you angry? Were you going to say anything disparaging against the Guyana police force? What would have been your comments, or what were your comments?
Kalaki, I don't believe in bad blood. I'm a man of God, and I feel I'm doing God's work. I went there to offer words of comfort to his wife and children. I didn't go there to attack anything. I didn't know to say anything negative is a relationship between Kupo and the Guyana police force. I already said that. I already written about that. And I know that was a place of divine worship. And I'm not going to go against the Lord. I went there to comfort the family. And that's what I did. I spoke about Kupo. I spoke about a relationship. I spoke about his achievements in the Guyana police force. And I spoke about his academic achievements. That's what I spoke about.
And so the public has been robbed of the opportunity of hearing what your comments were. What do you say to people in the media who behave in such a manner? As because here, this thing took a nasty turn too, if I can say, because I also saw what I want to call, quote unquote, a cuss out of this very Smith against Bonito Montague, I think is her name, a former colleague.
Yes, Bonito. Sometime after I had spoken, I got several calls from overseas and locally saying that I was muted, and apparently the person who was like streaming, if the person turned away the camera from me until I finished speaking, then it came on back. I listened to Bonito, and I also saw something from Smith addressed to Bonito. And let me read it because I made a record of it. I can recall sometime when he interviewed the head of the admin department of the Guyana Police Force. And that admin man said that in looking at promotion, they look at race and they look at ethnic. And
You're
shortly
kind of
after,
a little adjusting. I'm getting from your nose down. Yeah. Yeah, that's
yes,
you. Right, that's you. That's your perfect position.
yeah. After I spoke about something that he put on the program, he pulled it down. So this is what he put about Bonito. Dear Bonito Monte, we stand by our decision not to carry Clinton Conway's comments at the funeral of the late Senior Superintendent Edmund Cooper. Conway has issues with our brand and its management. So why is there all the fuss now to be featured on the brand? If he so much wanted to be featured, he should have walked with his own camera. Bonita behaving like it was Clinton Conway's funeral and that he ought to have been the focal point today. That's what he wrote. And I received several comments from people here, who condemn his action. I think it was really, it wasn't what it ought to be for media personnel. And the thing is that he always gets the scoop. He always gets the news first because of his association with a certain top-ranking member of the Guyana Police Force, which ought not to be. And I don't see why the police force, the communication unit, did not carry that thing live. They allow one person to carry it. As a result, I got muted and I get thrown off.
And people get cussed out. Is there even a communication unit that's functioning at the Guyana Police Force? That question has to be asked now. I know Stan Gavaya was the communication czar along with, I think, Mark Ramatar was that guy's name. Are they still around,
Yeah, they were installed and they're still there.
Okay, so they're getting paid for not doing what they got to do.
Getting paid, super salary, getting a unmarked police vehicle to move about the place with them where they want to go.
Interesting. Yeah, so viewers, basically, you listen. I remember reading that comment myself. Distasteful, like I said, infantile. And people must call out Big Smith for what it is. Right?
Well, Kadaki, so far, not a word from the commissioner, not a word from the Minister of Affairs. Maybe it's a tacit admission that they agree with what Big Smith posted up there, and what he did to me. But that's life. Life goes on. I will not be muted. I will continue to speak out. I have an abiding interest in law enforcement, particularly the Guyana Police Force, and I will speak. Myself and my partner, Mr. Pastor, will continue to speak out as we see law enforcement unfolds.
Very well. Thank you. Anything else you want to share with us before I allow you to go back to your bed?
I want to leave Big Smith for the public to decide on him. And also I want to leave this quote that I read years and years ago, Abraham Lincoln. He said, you can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And I want to make the point also too that I have, apart from Cooper's gone, but I have many sons and daughters in the Guyana Police Force at all levels. Persons that I have influenced, persons that I was responsible for their upliftment in the Guyana Police Force. And we are in contact, although some of them frightened to talk to me for fear that the police going to, take action against them. But I have persons there at all levels in the Guyana who are my sons and daughters. And I sympathize with the death of Cooper. They treated him like I can't find words to describe. And lo and behold, I must talk about the Home Affairs Minister too, because he is a man who had written Papi when Papi was performing and said to proceed with criminal charge against Cooper. Published in the Force Order 47 of 2022. they're trying to, correct the wrongs which cannot be corrected. There's a lot of hypocrisy. And I don't know, according to the records that I've seen, on the 22nd of July, he be 55. But I understand that he has leave that will take him from now to his date of retirement. They've applied for him to be paid for his leave. And if they get approval, that means he can work until the date. But then we can't be certain because he might be extended. And that's where they have a whole lot of battering in the Guyana police force, because they have some persons who I call snipers trying to get at the top of the thing. And there's a lot of disunity among the top people because they feel that Higgin should go. And also each one of them feel that they should become the next commissioner.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, Kilaki. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Always. Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
And so, folks, you've heard Mr. Conway explain, what I want to call the bitterness of Big Smith. Salty and bitter, Carolina and salt beef. Some people, I mean, people might take it lightly or believe that it is petty to discuss these things. But the reality is, these are the people who bring news to you. These are the people who report, who get advanced information, if I can call it that, on matters of the Guyana police force. If I remember clearly, Big Smith was the first person to publish when they killed Boston that he attacked the police. And that story had to be retracted at some point in time when the truth came out. Right? And so if you have a media house, a media operative, I mean, we got a whole set of them, the Kaichos and the Stabrook and so on, all of them credibility questions and so on. But if you have media operatives behaving in such a petty way, then you don't know what credibility to assign to news and information when they bring it to you. And that puts you in a dangerous place. Because you might see a story from Big Smith that say, listen, they got chaos on the East Coast, and you just dismiss that because Big Smith is always never right, or almost never right, only to know that, yes, there is chaos on the East Coast. And so we have to call out folks who are supposed to be professional, but continue to exhibit their unprofessionalism in the eyes of the public, the work that they do. If there's anything that can be deemed childish and infantile and unprofessional and vindictive and bad-minded, and the list of adjectives go on, it was Big Smith muting Mr. Conway at that funeral service. The buying had no time and place. Old people said, oh, little by dog and auntie man, I get time and place. You have to decide which bracket you want to fit people when they behave in a certain way. It is now 8 minutes past 8 o'clock. I'm going to open up the lines right now. Let's talk a thing. Let me talk a thing. 6225933 is the number to call. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. Let's talk a thing. The lines are open. Unprofessionalism. In the media, in the Guyana police force, I don't know if you all heard the acting commissioner of police, Clifton Aikens, comments at that funeral service, but I will deal with that another day. I certainly will. Because again, I think that too was infantile. I think that too was infantile. Y'all recognize that they said they got, I think, 50 low-income homes completed under the government of Guyana? Y'all see them? I could get, listen, those canals. Those canals. Y'all see them canals? $5 million canals and so on? I wonder who they're putting inside to live. Guyanese are constantly abused by the government of the day. The criminal cabal. The cartel known as the PPP. Have you guys seen those homes that they consider low-income homes? And the medium is not much different to the low income. I'm going to show y'all sometime, man. But let me targeting. Y'all recognize what is happening. A mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. Well, like the mouse, you tell yourself you get it easy. There comes a time when you have no choice. I don't want to believe Big Smith find himself in that spot.
These homes, nobody is here. Typical fashion, it's Sunday, right? So come with me and take a tour through these houses, which I'm seeing now for the first time up close. Your boy is here. I actually came here today to check out these homes. Nobody is here. Typical fashion, it's Sunday, right? So come with me and take a tour through these houses, which I'm seeing now for the first time up close, just like you, and tell me if this is worth $5 million to you, and if this is really a solution for low-income people and people that are living in the struggle, who want to get their foot on the rung of the property ladder. Let me head over. There's going to be a fence line there. Looks like another structure is going here, and there's a fence in the middle there. There's zero room for expansion in any direction, at least to the side. There's some of the material down here. Okay, this is metal. This is not plastic. It's corrugated metal down here. Interesting. Let's check it out. These are your stairs. Walk up. And here we go. So it's not plastic, guys. It's metal. It's corrugated metal. I don't know who said it's upcycled plastic or recycled plastic. People were saying it's not zinc. Okay, this bit is zinc. I'm telling you, I'm seeing shiny bits under the plastic. This is not plastic. I know what kind of plastic this is, but this is metal. This aluminum. This is electrocution. All right. And so they've basically put up a wooden frame structure, right? Taken this aluminum sheet in here and nailed it to the side. This is what it is. You come inside here, you could see more of this. It looks like corrugated zinc. Okay, I don't know, it does not feel plastic at all. Feels like metal, but maybe somebody can correct me. But this is the framing in here. Let me switch to white screen so you can see better. Front door, your couple bedrooms, your toilet, you're here. Now you're in your back step, which is right over the lane from the other people's front door. And they're next to their people. This close proximity, everybody is literally kind of right up on each other. And it looked like Shawshank Redemption. It gave him strong Shawshank Redemption vibes. So this is how it's framed up inside, as you can see. $5 million. There's your ceiling, which also looks like it's zinc. You got 1, 2 bedrooms, okay? Here's your toilet and bathroom area, I guess. Well, I don't even know where the toilet going by. There's a bathroom. If you're lucky, maybe you could crap. I guess this is your living room area down here. In front here, there's your living room. Your kitchen is probably going to be just in that corner over there. Counter thing. A little fridge or whatever. Very, very tight. So this is your whole living space down here. And I did see a comment where somebody said, 6 people. He's known of instances where people are 6 people living in a house that's falling down and they can't afford the rent. People are exploiting them on the rent, and I'm happy to have seen that comment because you recognize that single people are not the only people that are in a low income. Some low income people have families. So how does this work as a structure for a family? This bedroom as well is very small. This, you can literally turn around and jump in this bedroom. You got space for a bed, little cabinet or something. So 1 bedroom, 2nd bedroom, living room, kitchen, shower and a toilet. I guess it's everything that you need, but I don't think this is worth $5 million, and absolutely no way would I pay $5 million for this structure. This is disrespectful as far as I'm concerned. It's disrespectful for $5 million. Normally, if you pay $5 million for a house like this, right, and they build it with concrete blocks and stuff, you at least have the option of building up when you're ready. You can't extend this and go up another story. You have to do substantial works. That there, I guess, is the septic tank. They've dug a number of holes all along for everybody's septic tank. And I guess this is everybody's backyard. So your backyard is probably likely going to extend to here. It's just like we will put a block of houses together with each other and just do the best that we can. So in 30 years, we have predictions that the coast is going to be more on the sea level and there are going to be a lot of flood-prone regions. I don't see this. I mean, 30 years is how long it might take somebody to pay off for one of these houses. It's not future-proof to me. This is what you have when you get first world growth with a third world mentality, right? Now, people are going to say, this is not America, this is not England, but it could never be because we have not planned ahead in advance. For people that are squatting already, right? They go and find some unoccupied land and they will get bits of wood and stuff. They get their building materials together as they can afford it. And they put up a structure that does not cost $5 million in the majority of cases, right? So people are saying you're not saddling poor people with debt to make them pay $5 million for one of these houses. Considering you can't expand it at all, it's built on stilts down here. We know flooding is a problem in Guyana. In the video, or rather the pictures posted online, it looked much lower than this. So it's encouraging to know that it's not dead on the ground. But yeah, there's no ways I would pay $5 million for this. It's not worth $5 million. I mean, I'm all good with new building materials and stuff, but I just feeling right now that this house is going to be boiling when it's finished. And yeah, big Lasco fan for down here. All right, so now encourage. And other things I'm wondering about, like, where are the playgrounds? What's wrong with a playground? Why can't young people have playgrounds in this country? Why is it such an alien concept to us that young people want to play? All them going to play on the road, or because there's such close proximity to each other? Look at this. It's practically like, I mean, you're just playing with your neighbors because you only go 5 feet to play with your neighbors. Lo and behold, somebody had a problem with somebody, and I mean, it's everything, but there is not $5 million in this structure. I just cannot. They've plastered some concrete, right? So, but I'm gonna hold out on the verdict.
The Michael Bailey video there, I took the liberty of sharing it with you, so that you could see wool being pulled over your eyes and so on. From what I read, they did say there were 2 types of materials being used. One was recycled plastic, and the other was what they call some kind of modern material or whatever. I don't know what that is, but you've seen it for yourself. Carter, thank you for holding. You're a very patient man. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Patience is what I have. I've been told that patience is virtue. Patience also lead to what Guyanese are exhibiting today. You know, the PPP like to talk about professionalism and all of those fancy words. I came to you this morning as a trained professional, as a person who owns a construction company, and a person who understands international building codes very, very well. I can speak on hours on those structures. One thing I would love to find out who is the engineer and who are the builders of those structures. When I look at those structures, the sheeting that they're using, it's supposed to be 12 gauge or 12 gauge wide rib sheeting, and those sheeting are what we use for decking when we do reinforced decking, like we do in we sheeting somewhere to pour concrete. That's what we would use. I would advise people to stay away from those buildings. Just like the guy in the video said, those buildings are set for people being electrocuted and all kind of ills. Also, given the fact that Guyana is a warm climate country, when you close those buildings, it's like you're in a sweatbox, and they cannot dispute it, and I can prove it. Coming to the dollar amount, I am prepared to get $60,000 US and come and show them that building worth nowhere near $60,000. But it's the government, it's the cabal, it's the cartel. That's what they will do. They inflate every dollar. They spend 10 cents per dollar and then they inflate everything else. Those buildings, then they don't have no yard space. I don't even know what these people are doing. But my point this morning is to tell people stay away from those buildings. Stay away from them. Let them put their people to live in those buildings, because that's exactly what they're doing. You call them kennel, I call them stud. That's what they're building. They're building style for people to live. And trying to paint it like they're doing something. They're not doing anything there. And I'm speaking from experience as a builder. I know exactly what I'm saying. And that's my contribution.
Thank you for your call. I don't know. When people want to sell you small things for big money, they just throw in a little trinket here and a trinket there. And what if it's a land that's selling for $5 million and they just say we're going to get a bonus? And what if the land together with that thing, because I don't know exactly what it is really and truly, is valued $5 million. Somebody needs to tell us what people are paying for. Good? Is it that they know people need the land and so people will enter into the agreement to get the land, but the friends need to make some money off of people so they're going to get them contract to build low-income homes, which people will be so uncomfortable inside that they're going to push them down eventually. This is subway robbery. This government ain't got no shame. This cartel has no shame whatsoever. It's money for the boys. But you got some of your people who say they're doing well, because they dare not challenge them. Otherwise, the soup might get caught. They might get kicked off the gravy train. The lines remain open still. It's 24 minutes past 8 o'clock hour. Let's talk the thing. On Guyanese morning time. Let's talk the thing. Lines remain open. I know we're having our own challenges this morning with the program, but we'll survive. We'll survive. Caller, you're live, good morning. Caller, you're live, good morning. Caller, getting connectivity issues. Caller, you're live, good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki. Yeah. I heard what happened with the Miss. Because when you're spending your money, you spend for what? And with zinc and concrete and no proper ventilation in those houses, they will not be able to live in them. Because when you see you living underneath a zinc roof, when you see the things start pelting down, sun, you can't make it. Anyway, about one of the callers last week was hinting that Dr. Rowley came and was against the former government. Dr. Rowley clearly stated that he came to Guyana and the invited thing was me. Got here and he saw what was going on. He said he will not be a part of it. And the man departed for his country and leave them to do what they do. But Mia had her own purposes because Mia was like the butcher with the cow and the beans, jack and the beanstalks. So she know that when she do what she do, she would have garner a set of land so people in Barbados, one, bring them black belly sheep too, and get all which you could get out of Guyana, along with some oil blocks. Moving along, you know there is a man in Denham still who is very vocal against the regime by the name of Clayton Jacobs. He invited y'all down here the last time. Anyway, some problem he had with the in the house slave because everybody who is the house slave keep attacking them. Well, now he has made allegations and at station that this man Clayton Jacobs, along with the village chairman, have threatened to kill him. So he end up call his boys, and the boys had them at the station for this alleged threat. But at the bottom of all of this, Kadaki, he is trying to have to ascertain a legal firearm. So he's carrying people's name, claiming that they're threatening him. And because of their threats to him, he wants to fortify himself with a firearm. Well, let me tell you, I'm not speaking because I'm biased. Should this house slave be given a legal firearm, I think all the people who are APNU related, he's going to get rid of them. Because without this firearm, this man is attacking people. I could remember evening I was going to the road. But you know we living on a cross, a T cross. So he was coming from the western end and I coming from the eastern end to proceed north. Coming out to the street, he was in the street coming, he didn't really come in. And when he realized it was me, he hustled up with this guy, you know. And I had to tell you, so I got to do is knock down me so and so, and then you're going to get everything. And I walked in, now I was riding at a normal pace, and he didn't worry to come out. And if he had a gun, you think he would have said thing, he would have shoot me and said it out, I do something. So I want this thing to come out, that the house slave now is attacking people, going and lie at the police station, and he calling his people, and the people are harassing the citizens because we are talking against his ills. One of his main ills is having people to work, claiming a bigger workforce to get money, and two, he is polluting the village because all over the village, any part of the village you go, only in front of me yard is black bag, garbage bag with garbage in it. The garbage stockpiling all around the place, and he is not seeing to get this garbage removed. That is things what the house slaves should look after. Now they're going and lying on innocent black people who trying to stand up for our rights in this apartheid system. Because when he goes with that, you a strong leader now will be broken. Because when you see the police get involved and they want to carry out their vindictiveness to you. They place you in front of the court without no relevant material, and then the magistrates come up and fling in those big exorbitant fines to you to pay. So they mean if we cannot get you afternoon supporter in one way, we gonna get you in the other way by paying fines. And if we got to manufacture evidence to destroy you. So that is where we are in the Amstel. And to the sorrowing relatives of the police, but I don't like police. Please accept my sympathy because I'm hearing lots of things to the demise of that young man. And I wouldn't like to know that I am being snuffed out in that type of way because I stood up against the regime. We have got to stand our guard and we have got to be watchful of our African brothers. Because I could remember when Anil said he gonna win seat, Anil gonna make black people run back to Africa. But win seat, we ain't gonna run. We gonna stay and fight. Like how we fight and we come out of slavery, we will be victorious in this fight. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. Voice note.
Good morning, Kidaki. There's definitely a problem with connectivity. But all I'm going to say this morning is that we should count our blessings. Good morning, Kidaki. There is definitely a problem with connectivity. But all I'm going to say this morning is that we should count our blessings that we do not have a natural disaster. Let us pray we don't have a hurricane. There was earthquake in Turkey. Bye.
Thank you for that voice note. Let me tell you all something. I mean, a lot of people feel that, listen, sometimes I don't, honestly, sometimes I don't feel like explaining myself too much. You see what's happening this morning? It happens every morning. I fail to remember to connect. And I know that the water is still murky. They ain't giving up. It's as simple as that. Call it like
it was in a partnership with a foreign company. Who is the company and where the organization is located? Or is it just a government wholly and solely run by the government of Guyana?
no, GT&T is a private enterprise, I can tell you. Originally it was just now let me finish. Originally it was ATN, Atlantic Tele ATN, Atlantic Tele Network, which is an American company as far as I know. ATN had bought it over from the government of Guyana, with the understanding the government of Guyana had retained a 10% share. Right, because of course it was a public utility and still is a public utility, but they have these private-public partnerships where you can sell most of it, and the government retains a small amount so that they be on the board of directors, so they can protect the interests of citizens. So Guyana government had retained the 10%, and then came the Barjagdi administration and so on and so forth, and one of the last things Bar did, perhaps before leaving office, was to sell the 10% share to some private enterprise. Some people say it originates out of China, some people say it originates out of Hong Kong, and all kinds of things. Joe Armand might be able to tell us where it originates, because I remember you went to China to find out more about this 10% new owner, because they had owed some money to the government of Ghana. I don't know if that money was ever collected. I've not heard any unambiguous discussion about it, who the owners were. But I usually argue it's a PPP outfit masquerading under some name that bought that 10% share.
Okay, thank you so much for the clarification. The reason why I asked you for this information, I did watch a program with Mr. North giving an interview with an international organization yesterday. That's when I saw it yesterday. And, you know, we should observe something that is happening. And this is a form of state sponsorship of victimization. Whether this company is an international, GT&T is internationally owned, if it is owned in partnership with the government. From what I observe, Mr. Norton, who is the leader of the opposition, his interviews are being censored. It's being interrupted. No, this is a blatant disregard, and it's a clear sign that Guyana indeed is an apartheid racist regime that is being sponsored by the international community. Now, listen to me. If this is an international organization, this is what they used to do to you guys, because they did it to your program. They used to do it to Mr. Rickford Burke. They used to do it to Gavin Matthews as well. Anytime you guys are supposed to be enlightening the public, or your turn to speak, we have interruptions in the broadcast for no apparent reason. And this is a clear sign that we have no rules in Guyana. I want the opposition, as well as retired police officers, retired army officers, there are no rules in Guyana, none whatsoever. The state is using the media, they're using the broadcasting system to victimize one part or one half of the section of Guyanese that predominantly represent African people. This is no joke, and this is very dangerous. This is the reason why I am going to advocate for it, and Guyanese must ask for it. We have to ask for a referendum for separation. Imagine we're supposed to be a democratic society. We have representatives, ambassadors that are doing business, are having business as usual with an apartheid regime. We must never forget that this was done in South Africa with the understanding that in South Africa, the whites or the Caucasian people were in no way, shape, or form ever was in control, but they used the police, where the police was predominantly of one race. We have the same issue. They're using the police, the army, to control, to victimize, and these representatives are sitting back and observing this. They're not just having no discussion. The opposition must realize that there are no rules. When there are no rules, you have to make your rules. Because this situation is not going down the right direction. If African Guyanese don't ask for separation, you bet once the oil is dripping, those same colonial leaders, they will push for further and further and further apartheid, racist regime, because they know African people will never subject themselves. Mr. Kadaki, Guyanese must understand this day and this age of technology, they are to keep evidence of abuse by policemen, by ministers, and whatever they did, it must and will be justice. Have a good day, Mr. Kadaki. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your call. And again, thank you for your patience, viewers. I know it is aggravating to say the least, the number of disconnects and audio blocks you're getting and so on. It won't happen tomorrow, I promise you. But again, so I explained what listen, I think we make things look so easy that people believe that it is so easy. On a daily basis, because I have a program that kind of protects us from that. When I come on in the morning, on average, you get every 5 minutes, 4 attempts to track this computer. At least 4 attempts to track this computer. That continues all day. Attempt to track, attempt to track, attempt to track. Right? You just gotta deal with it, man. It's call it live. Good morning.
Morning, Kadaki, and morning, Guyana. Rhonda, issue there. I mean, it is just simple. I mean, the guy is acting like a house slave. Get rid of him. Easy done. Go ahead. Now, when it comes to, I guess, big shit news and what they're embedded in the police department, getting forced dibs, but there is a team for us as African Guyanese and to a wider extent other parts of the world. We give ourselves up to these racist folks easily. I mean, we just either hate ourselves to the extent of who we get in bed with, and as you stated, it's for the highest bidder. So anytime the state is paying you and giving all those scoops, your direction is to protect them and, I guess, do the bidding for them. I heard speaking out program in reference to what they did to that high-ranking officer that actually have gotten a stroke and stuff like that. I mean, these people, racist folks in the PPP, and to the extent, the majority of Indians, their goal, in my opinion, is to bury us, discredit us, and we simply go along with it because I guess we don't understand what they're doing or really care not to figure out what these people are doing to us. It is ridiculous, in my opinion, the way the African Guyanese are behaving. And, I don't know. I mean, I have solutions, but, I'm not going to say it. But it behooves me that we act on our own in reference to our interests and what we're able to do to our own in order to show Masakuli what we are made of. It is sickening to me on that accord of how we behave, because that don't happen on the Koli people side. No, they don't do that to their own people. Why are we doing that? And I guess it's a longer discussion, psychological issue with us. One more point before I go, sir. The mediocrity that is continuing in Guyana, talking about the Dubai of the Caribbean. Hell no, that will never happen. What they're accepting is on those houses that were shown, I mean, no infrastructure, no nothing. And then they're going to tell you, well, it's something better than nothing. And if the infrastructure is going to come later. And we continue to accept the mediocrity. Just give your house, little thing with bushes. Simply, in the third world, you're building to third world standard. That's the term that Guyana keep using is give. When you give, there's no money passed.
To the Guyanese morning time. It's 11 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. Call and let's talk the thing. Oh, yes. I see somebody saying that the engineer is commenting on the homes, the houses, whatever you call them, those structures, without having a first-hand view. And I should go and take a first-hand look at what's there. Sometimes I don't have the time to waste. Sometimes I simply don't have the time to waste. You've seen Michael Bailey there. What is disputable? What is disputable? I don't see any dispute with the video that Michael showed. The reality is, these people are sparse people. These people ain't got no love, they ain't got no compassion, they ain't got no consideration in their hearts. I constantly say, the last time when they broke down the people at Caneview House and saying that it is better for them to go and live in these government developed two-bedroom homes and so on, it is indecent. It is indecent. There's no guarantee of privacy in any of those things, from within or without. If you spit too hard through the one window or two windows that you see on that structure, it's going to go in your neighbor yard. If you speak loudly in your home, your neighbor going to know your business. Don't groan. And to think these things are being built under a man who claims to be president, who claims to have a doctorate in urban development. Urban development. That was his thesis on. He did his doctorate in urban development. Or in whatever it is. In this instance, education has contributed nothing. Or many will argue there was no education, so they can't contribute anything. Listen, Miranda Brown, I don't know the specifications of these homes. I think I said somebody said it's 600 square foot. Yeah, that is what I saw them comment on. When was his name did his walkthrough and the first 50 completed or the construction or something. 600 square foot. What does 600 square foot equate to? 600 square foot is approximately, is it a 20 by 30 building? It doesn't look like 20 by 30 to me. How do you get 600 square foot? You can get it by all combinations. We'll talk about that shortly. Call it live. Call it live.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Call, you need to speak to me on the phone and stop listening to yourself on the program.
Yes, sir. I was watching the program this morning, right? You're condemning these houses, right? Having, as you said, you didn't went and see the houses. Why don't you go observe the houses, and then you'll be in a better position to come back to the public and make your comments.
Caller, did I just show you a video of the homes?
Sir, don't worry, video. Go and view the house yourself before your national television.
Caller, did Michael Bailey go visit the homes and commented on them on video while viewing them?
You taking Michael Bailey's comments?
Yes, he's more credible than the government.
All right. You see, what I noticed, right, on your program, all you do is criticizing, and you're not getting anywhere, sir.
How
People
you know that? How you know I ain't getting nowhere? Why you investing your time to call me to put it to right if I ain't getting nowhere?
No, because you're not making sense and people not getting value.
You got a lot. Caller, you got enough time to waste because I ain't making sense, and every day you on me program.
You running this program for years, sir, and you one thing over and over.
But caller, I am saying, if I am not making sense, hear me. If I am not making sense, if I'm wasting time, you're just as guilty as I am because you know I running it for years and you tune in every morning. And to add insult to injury, you call to talk crap.
No. Listen to this. Your program is supposed to enlighten and help people. For the past years, this is not happening. It's one thing over and over every day.
You're saying that you have not been enlightened?
Mr. Amsterdam, I want you to be fair with yourself. And
listen, my time is valuable. Caller, good morning. You're live.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, caller. You're live.
Yes, that caller there is a dunce. A complete dunce, right? Because if he's saying that video, don't worry with video, I don't know what else he gonna want to worry with, right? Because you're gonna go and see it and you're gonna come back and see it and you're gonna get something else to see. He is a complete dunce. This is all I have to say.
Thank you, caller. Listen, I am just about to see. I read the ministry says it's 600 square foot building. Now, there are different combinations and measurements that you can get 600 square foot from. But I rather suspect it's going to be 20 by 30. I'm going to give you that 600 square foot. Right? 20 by 30. That's my suspicion. There are other combinations which will give you 600. They can give you 50 by 40. Looking at the layout of the building, the question is adequacy. Forget the building. Because while they're trying to force 2 bedrooms in a structure like that, it could be 1 bedroom and it could be comfortable. Right? It could be 1 bedroom and it could be comfortable. Let's talk about the land space. Let's talk about siting. I was just saying, if your neighbors pit too hard in your yard, then it might be on your building. You shout too hard, your neighbor gonna hear you shout. People are entitled to some amount of privacy and decency in their living conditions. Right? Again, looking at that video, if I assume, if you look at the living room, because the living room that Michael showed you will give you a clear idea of the width by the length. How do you fit 2 bedrooms in a 20 by 30 space with internal arrangements, the toilet and bath and so on? A standard, well, I don't even know if you call it standard. A standard room is 10 by 10. Right? 10 by 10 is a standard room. So is it 2 10 by 10 bedrooms? Is this 600 square foot confined to the internal measurement, or it takes into consideration what might be a patio outside or the steps outside? How did you arrive at 600 square foot? Right? All in all, what we are saying and what I subscribe to, it in value 5 million, number one. Like I said, maybe the land is selling for 5 million. Right? Or one has to ask the question, what is the value of the land compared to the value of the structure? And then is when we can really talk about the structure cost. What is the average cost of a piece of land like that from the ministry? Is it 500,000? Is it 2 million? What is the cost of the land? And then let's address the cost of the building, because a lot of people might be commenting on the cost of the building, not take the cost of the property, not taking into consideration the cost of the land. But if you were to ask me, it got to be the land cost in excess of $2 million for that entire property to cost 5 million. Are they fencing it? Is there a fencing included in the value of $5 million? Those are the things we got to find out, quite frankly. And since citizens don't know, that falls on the doorstep of the government. The government has not provided adequate information. And so let the government tell us, is the land going to be fenced? What's the base cost of the land? What's the cost of the fence? And then what's the cost of the structure that is on the land? But looking at that as it is an undeveloped piece of land with a house, a cottage, a lodge on stilts for $5 million. Is that value for your money? Call A Live, good morning. I hope you're still there. Seems that. Call A Live, good morning.
Hey, good morning to that. I just got a question of this, how this. Is there a possibility that they're designed so that you can put on an addition? The culture in Guyana is that.
Caller.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Did you see the video?
I didn't see it because I was driving, so I couldn't pay attention to it.
Like Michael Bailey was saying, the things are built in such a way that you can't even extend them. You can't go up because they're on 4 stilts or 6 stilts and one wooden structure, and nailed on to that wooden structure are some metal plates or whatever you call them. The guy who called and said he's a contractor explained wide ridge sheeting or something, and they plaster some cement inside.
Yeah, but I thought they said it was recycled plastic.
Well, I made that clarification too. I read in the ministry's release that they were using 2 types of material. They claim one to be recycled plastic. So the other one might be what Michael Bailey is saying. I don't know if he went specifically in search of the recycled plastic and couldn't find it. Right?
Okay.
Good.
Oh. All right, $5 million. That's a lot of money. That's all right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So the lines remain home. We got what? It's past 9 o'clock. I really should go. I'm going to give you all another 10 minutes, man.
That caller that said that you're wasting your time and all of that, oh boy, he had just used the wrong.
But like I say, I maintain a program that is, this is Guyanese morning time. I good. So not because I recognize your voice, we used to have Zacchaeus here every morning. Not because I recognize your voice, I will stop you from making your point. But just come with some sense now.
Morning, Kadaki. I was looking at those buildings there yesterday, and I coined the term sweat boxes. Those are sweat boxes the government is billing for Guyanese to live in. That's one. Two, if we are living in a floodplain and the place is supposed to be flooded, why are they building the houses flat to the ground? These people got no morals or anything, man.
The houses are being built as lost their mentality. What do you expect?
Good morning. If Afro-Guyanese don't believe they're in trouble, tell them to Google Guyana. Only Indian people show up. No Afro-Guyanese. Go ahead. Google Guyana. According to Google, only Indians live in Guyana.
Thank you for that voice note. Listen, I don't know. Sometimes the others, sometimes one call can take my whole energy level. Hear what I'm saying? You know, anybody who wants to be transparent, it's easy for the government of Guyana to justify what they're doing, you know. Publish the floor plan of this home. I can Google and I can find floor plan of buildings that don't exist in Guyana. Why can't I get a floor plan of an investment of the nation's money being made by this government? Show us a floor plan. This is a challenge to the Minister of Housing. Is who? I don't even know. Is who that by? Bharat, no Vikram Bharat. I can't remember who is there. But my point is, this is a public funded project. What is it for the government through the Department of Public Information and Chronicle and all of them? All them outpieces. To put it out there where, look, this is the floor plan of the low-income homes. And let people contest the value from there. Or this is the cost of the land. This is the cost of the building. And if there's going to be a fence, this is the cost of the fence. And let people look at those numbers and agree or disagree with them. But you put it out there. $5 million is the value for this low-income home. What are people getting for the $5 million? That's what we want to know. I want to know. And since the focus is on the home, where's the value of the home? What does 600 square foot represent on this particular building, this structure? Yeah, Colin Cole. That's all. So if these people, this particular Supreme who say, I am wasting time, wants to prove that I'm wasting time, that's all you have to do. Come with your facts, because I ain't got no facts. I ain't going to see this place. I don't know nothing what you're talking about. You bring your facts. I say, Mr. Amsterdam, these are the measurements being used to construct this property. This is how the value, the cost is apportioned. And shut me up. But I wasting time. You wasting time too. Anyhow, it's time I go about my business. It's 8 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. Thank you for tuning in. I hope I didn't waste your time. But I keep saying to you, and I said it before, when you find the government and its friends keep running around and say nobody listens to David Hines and nobody listens to Mr. Kiraki Amsterdam and nobody listens to Kams TV and nobody listens to this and nobody listens to that, and they're wasting their time and they don't know what they're talking about and they're fooling you and so on, be very aware and be very careful of those claims, because they use those claims to try to condition you not to listen. That's what they're about. Right? That's what they do. They try to condition you not to listen because they don't want you to have access to pertinent information. It's a psychological warfare out there. So then they keep coming and tell, the more they say wasting time, the more I'm going to waste time. That's all. Right? Well, don't happen so when you're in your toilet, you're all out smelling like what the government is. Have a good day. Goodbye. See you tomorrow morning for another program of Guyanese Morning Time. Be safe and make some money. Remember, use your skills as a side hustle to protect your independence. Don't be like the mouse. Don't sit at the top of the jar and tell yourself that the grain is going to be forever. And you're living a good life. You're going to get trapped. Have a good day. Goodbye.